what you're seeing with SHA, what you're seeing with the counties, and we've had the president talk even about Parliament and promise tough action. Was it yesterday or the day before, he talked about what's happening with SHA, and he promised tough action, that he'll arrest, make them refund, and take them to jail and all these things. Are you confident that that is beyond lip service?
I would like to say two things. One, the transformative nature of our current president is actually the cornerstone of all the other things that we are looking at. When we talked about SHA in that element, we were moving to universal healthcare, which is a transformative angle on dignifying the Kenyan Mwananchi, which is enshrined in our constitution. And I do believe that the president actually anchored all these projects because, like I said, a constitution is a framework for development. And he anchored all these projects in that. When we looked at the EGP system, that is a fundamental way of handling anti-corruption at its core when you look at procurement, because it's in Article 227 of the Constitution of Public Procurement. And EGP has come to do just that, to make sure we have digital footprints, digital transparency, in making sure that we understand how, it's not about just putting tenders out there online. It's about understanding and knowing what is going on, how does this get awarded. Even young people, the 30% that was lip service a while ago can actually be actualized. The people living with disability, the women, that can be actualized with EGP because there will be a digital footprint saying actual youth have benefited from that. Now the other one is the ACC. What I didn't understand is when we went to court to fight the multi-sector task force on EACC. In my assessment, these independent bodies, if they come together and work for Kenya, the president has a bit of power in order to enable these have a conducive cohesion working environment. And I think that was just it. The task force was just it, is to enable that EACC or PP, procurement and all that come together, because these are independent bodies that were enshrined in the same constitution that we now are valuable of. We are custodian of.
Isn't that an admission of failure of the individual independent bodies by themselves and offices, that individually you've not been able to work, now I have to bring you around a table and chair the same as the executive?
It's about a mindset of the 21st century and bringing in 21st century. Those situations have been there, but we have seen. But now EACC needs to work in a systematic manner. You cannot chop a giant tree with one. It needs to have a network of being able to collect and actually prosecute cases that will not go to court, ziishie hapo kotini, and to take them to the end. So this is not just a crackdown. It's about systematically taking back control and making sure that people who go through EACC are actually being prosecuted. Now, what I was saying is the independent bodies coming together in order to just have not a working group peke yake, talk to each other. Where are the gaps? Because if we are looking at gaps, even our own devolution, you know the gaps. Did you know that a common Mwananchi has no leeway or has no way of holding the MCA accountable because hakuna framework of him directly talking to the MCA? When there's something, you have to either do a petition, you ever do signatures in all that manner. So there is no framework of feedback from MCA to the common Mwananchi, unless, of course, he goes to the office to where the mheshimiwa is and may not even find him in all those kind of manner. Why? Because there's never a framework that can be able to make sure Mimi, Huyu, and anybody else that wants to talk about something in the MCA, in the county assembly, can be able to do that if it's not through a petition. And watu wengi, you understand that. They do not understand. I mean, they're not that capable knowledge of going through a petition unless it's an CBO or a very well-crafted institution that has funding to actually do that. But there isn't a framework that common Mwananchi can walk into an MCA and actually handle feedback on issues that are touching that. Why? That is a gap we should look at and try and institutionalize it in such a manner that it is easy for any individual to do that. Those are what, because now we're not even fighting about the constitution. It's about young people having a lot of power and implementing the constitution to its core. Implementing the evolution to its core. Those are the angles we should be able to talk about. Let's not hold the president just accountable. Let's even hold our MCAs accountable in every prospect of that man.
We're still not seeing that, and we're seeing that everyone is looking up at the president to say to crack the whip. But the president comes out and speaks using heavy words, but days later, especially on this Shah issue, which is one of his flagship projects. One would believe, one would think that the president would really be interested in fixing the situation, fixing the problem. But a week later, names have been mentioned, nothing has happened. Do you believe that this war on corruption currently is more than just paying lip service?
First of all, when I hear somebody say we should not call out